Thank you for taking the time to join us today. The goal of this presentation is to share with you about the MBA for Working Professionals program and answer any questions you might have about the program. Asia School of Business, also referred to as ASB, was founded in 2015 by the Central Bank of Malaysia, Bank Negara, in partnership with MIT Sloan in the U.S. The purpose is to create a world-class business school in Asia to help supply talent for tomorrow. ASB offers 3 programs: an MBA for full-time residency, an MBA for working professionals, and a master's in central banking, which is focused toward people currently working in central banks. I have included our mission statement here, as it's at the heart of everything we do at ASB. Before we go any further, it might be a good idea to look at both MBA programs that ASB offers. Our MBA for Full-Time Residency program was the first MBA program that ASB launched in 2016. This is focused toward the student who wishes to pursue their studies full-time and possibly change careers upon graduation. Our MBA for Working Professionals program, sometimes called MBA-WP, is our most recently launched program, sitting our first cohort in August 2019. This is focused toward students who are already employed full-time, love their current career path, and simply wish to accelerate the career progression. Students from both programs graduate with a Master's in Business Administration degree. When looking at the degrees, it's important to find out the one that's the right fit for you. This particular presentation is focused on MBA for Working Professionals. At a quick glance, the MBA for Working Professionals program takes 22 months to complete, with students coming to campus approximately once every 6 weeks to spend an intense week on campus studying. This means that students will need to take around 19 weeks out of the office, or approximately 9 to 10 weeks out of the office each year. Because of the time required out of the office, students will need to get the company's buy-in in order to join the program. We have completely redesigned our signature action learning for the working professionals. Instead of teams of students spending approximately 4 to 5 weeks per semester in a company completing a project, our MBA for Working Professional students work closely with their companies, selecting a project within their company that they would like to complete with the full support of our ASB faculty and business coaches. During this program, students take approximately 50% of their classes with MIT faculty and 50% of their classes with our local faculty who come from all over the globe and have received their PhDs from the most prestigious schools. This gives our students a huge advantage. They get the benefit of studying and learning from a globally recognized name, such as MIT, as well as having the opportunity to look at business problems through an Asian lens with our local faculty who research in Asia, consult with businesses in Asia, and live in Asia. And while a lot of business theory is the same globally, not all problems can be solved with a global approach. This is the ASB advantage. You get the best of both worlds. In addition, ASB students spend 4 weeks at MIT Sloan pursuing their studies. As a result, in addition to graduating with their MBA from Asia School of Business, students also graduate with a certificate from MIT Sloan and are considered an MIT Sloan affiliated alum in addition to an ASB alum. I'm frequently asked what the overall schedule looks like. To help prospective students better visualize, above is an illustrated example of approximately what to expect. Because approximately 50% of our classes are taught by MIT faculty, we are still working on finalizing the calendar for the upcoming academic year. We will provide this as soon as it becomes available. Here is an example of what a week on campus might look like. The schedule changes each week as we bring in speakers, additional learning opportunities, as well as professional development activities. For examples, our students are on campus this week as I'm recording this, and in addition to time in class, they are also having an executive coaching kickoff session for the semester, a senior guest speaker from a leading multinational firm, as well as a class town hall, Q&A with the dean, and a few study sessions with faculty to help them in their data modeling and decisions course. We regularly meet with the class to get a pulse on what they are seeking to learn, in addition to the curriculum, and make sure that we've weaved in the requested topics into the professional development curriculum, along with the pre-programmed curriculum that's already been created. Here is an illustrative example of what time away from school might look like. You will have to work outside of class during the distance period, but we do try to keep it to approximately 10 hours per week, including your action learning project, so that you still have time for a life outside of work and outside of school. This is a list of our current curriculum. Students actually have the option of more electives than what is listed here. However, each year the electives do vary slightly depending on the faculty that are available to teach. Each year the students take a survey of electives of interest to them, and from there, depending on the student interest, around 11 to 13 are selected to be available to all students. For the MBA for Working Professionals, your choice of electives will depend on your interests and when you can arrange time off. Since there are more electives and you do receive a choice, this does allow for some flexibility in your schedule during year 2 of the program. During year 1, classes will be lockstep as the entire cohort is required to take the core classes. We have completely redesigned our signature action learning program for the working professionals. Instead of a team of students going to a company and completing a project with the guidance of a faculty member, our students source their own projects and complete something of significance either within their department or in their company with the guidance and support of our faculty mentor and a business coach. We realize that there are skills that you develop when you go into a company, have to navigate the politics, determine if the problem has been identified correctly, and then attempt to solve the problem. We want to ensure you still have this valuable skill set, which is why the MBA for Working Professionals complete 3 on-site practicums in comparison to our full-time program that completes only 1 on-site practicum. Each practicum is 1 week intensive project, almost like a mini action learning project that our MBA for full-time residency students complete. The first one is in operations. The second and the third are determined by our faculty and action learning team. The operations practicum will be based in Malaysia. Of the second and the third, at least one will be outside of Malaysia and ASEAN, perhaps both. The location will be determined based on the quality of the project. As mentioned before, students spend 4 weeks at MIT Sloan as part of the program. The working professional students have the option of completing either all 4 weeks at one time, or can split this by taking 2 weeks during year 1 and then returning the following year for 2 additional weeks. This truly ends up being a personal choice between individual family and work situations. For this year's cohort, we were quite surprised at how many were able to attend the 4 weeks instead of only doing the 2 and 2 week option. In addition, for our MBA for full-time residency program, students are required to attend both a U.S. track and a China track. These are 1-week treks where our students spend a very busy week meeting with various companies and business leaders to learn how business is done within the region. As a working professional, you are encouraged to join these if you have the time and interest, as they are available to you, but it is not a requirement for your graduation. The program is designed for students to take from anywhere in the world as long as they are able to fly to Kuala Lumpur at least once every 6 weeks for class. For our first cohort, we intentionally kept the class small to allow us to adjust and improve as we went through the program. This cohort has 18 students coming from 5 different countries, and 2 of our Malaysian students even commute from Mexico. We can share statistics with you, but honestly the best way to appreciate the diversity in the classroom is to see a few profiles of our students. So on this slide and the next, we've shared a few with you. When we build a cohort, we are seeking diversity. We currently have students who have built their own successful businesses, to students in both larger and smaller corporations, as well as multinational and family-owned businesses. The more diverse experience we can bring together in one cohort, the better the learning environment we can create for you. Shown here are Ideal, an entrepreneur who started the Olive House. And Ideal was actually studying his master's in Islamic studies at one of the most prestigious schools in Islam in the world when he decided to start his company. And Nan comes from Vietnam, from Phu Hoang Securities, and is a deputy general director. Here are a couple more to share with you. Nick Aisha originally started her career with an undergraduate degree in accounting and is currently the general manager of Group Cash Flow within Sephora Energy, which is a large family-owned business in the oil and gas space in Malaysia. And Kunjo is the in-flight service operations manager for Thai Air Asia. This is also his second master's degree that he's pursuing. When we were designing the MBA for Working Professionals program, we focused on 2 factors. First, we want to make certain that students in the Working Professionals format receive the same learnings as the students in our full-time residency format, even if we deliver the learnings in a slightly different way. And second, we want to make certain that if we're asking students to take time out of work, the students were able to show tangible results to their employers. Some of the key employer benefits include the action learning projects that are done through the current employer. This means that the projects you complete with the faculty and business coach assistants should help you get noticed within your company. And our professional development program will help you improve not just your technical skills, which we call sharp skills, but also your smart skills, such as leadership, people skills, and the skills you will need to eventually reach the C-suite. Our career development team can also work with your HR team to help them create a career map for you. Because of the diversity of both our students and faculty, students will gain a global perspective that will help companies when solving problems or looking into entering new markets. On the right-hand side, we've tried to capture some of the benefits we believe you will capture as well when you complete the program. We are lucky to have several corporate partners through our Board of Governors. The three listed here are just a few examples of our amazing partners. Our corporate partners and leaders are a significant resource to our school and our programs. From sponsoring practicums to offering advice on professional development curriculum, to meeting students and offering them career advice, or even hiring them, our corporate partners are a huge part of ASB. Throughout your journey in the program, you will feel their influence through the quality of opportunities you receive, as well as have a chance to interact with them and meet them. So if all of this sounds like something you are interested in pursuing, what are the next steps? It all begins with the application. The admissions process is very straightforward, though there will be periods of time when you don't hear from us and wonder what's happening with your application. Step 1, you complete the application and submit. Please take some time with this step as you may want to think through your essays carefully before submitting, or it might take some time for your recommenders to complete the recommendation letters. We use the GMAC standard recommendation form, which will allow you to use the same letter of recommendation for different programs. And if you have a choice between the perfect application or the almost perfect application, it's far better to apply earlier as there's less competition for more seats. Also, very important, when you're completing your application, please use your work email address. And if you are interested, there's also a presentation like this available for application tips to help your application be more successful. Step 2 is the evaluation process of the application. Once you submit your application, our admissions team reviews your file to ensure that all the documents needed for proper evaluation are included. If you have forgotten something, this is when the admissions team will reach out to you. Once this part is complete, your file is assigned to a member of the admissions committee to read. After your file is read, as long as we believe you are academically strong enough to complete the program, then you are invited to be interviewed. In our MBA for Working Professionals program, we try to interview as many applicants as we can because we realize that you're more than just a document submitted and realize you may shine more in person than on paper. In addition, we use the interview to assess your English fluency. The fourth step is after all the interviews are complete, our admissions committee meets to decide on all the candidates who've applied for this particular round. The admissions committee is comprised of around 10 of our senior staff and faculty. After all the decisions are made, we will reach out to you and communicate your decision. Now that you know what to expect in the application process, here's where to apply. We are often asked what is required to apply. All students are required to have completed their bachelor's degree or equivalent from a recognized institution. If you're Malaysian and do not have a bachelor's degree, but have completed the APO and have MQA qualifications, we warmly encourage you to apply. All candidates must have a minimum of 2 years' work experience before the program begins in August. However, for the MBA for Working Professionals program, in rare cases, it's possible to be accepted with only 2 years' work experience, as long as it's strong. However, actually, we're seeking on average around 5 years and above. And finally, all classes are taught in English, and all assignments are required to be submitted in English, so you need to be proficient in English in order to succeed and do well in the program. The topic of funding is very important for the MBA for Working Professionals. We're working on financial aid options, but in the meantime, these are the 3 main sources of funding: corporate scholarship, self-funding, or one of 2 partial scholarships that the school is offering. For any student who wishes to have a conversation with their employer about potential sponsorship, we are very happy to have the conversation with you and discuss ways we can be able to help you in this conversation. As mentioned on the last slide, this year we are excited to announce that we are offering 2 very select scholarships for the MBA for Working Professionals. The 2 scholarships are each 40% tuition, which is spread across 5 semesters. There will be a separate process for applying that you can find on this slide, and all applications for scholarship are due prior to round 3, where all decisions will be made. We certainly do not expect this presentation to answer all of your questions, and we are here to help. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we will try to respond as soon as we can. We look forward to getting to know you and perhaps working with you through the application process if you decide that ASB is the right fit for you. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope we have the privilege to speak with you soon.